This is the QUBT 1 month overview reading for the month of April 2025. It's currently March 13th, 2025, 10:24 p.m. Eastern Time. QUBT at the time of this reading is $5.49. That's USD. And the shuffle video for the QUBT April reading was created on March 8th, 2025 at 9:28 p.m. Eastern Time. Guys, if you had early access on our website, Tarot for Traders, you would have been able to watch this video as early as March 13th. Just letting you guys know, among other things you can do with early access. So what we're going to get into in this video, I'm going to go over the overall trend direction and chart behavior for the month of April. I'm going to give you chart information or chart behavior to look out for near the month's highest high, the month's lowest low, and I'll even give you one of the best trades that we see at the very end of the video. Before I give you that trade, though, I want to go back into the February and March readings and check out our accuracy to make sure that we're on point and give you guys a good example of how our accuracy works. Then we'll come back, we'll give you the day-by-day sequence of chart events, and then one of the best trades. It's important to understand, guys, we're predicting the sequence of chart events. Now, the timing is usually on point to the day, but there's plenty of cases you're going to find where you need to give the timing plus or minus a day or two of wiggle room at some point in the reading. Not all readings, but maybe in some of them. And the reason for that is that not each card's energy will line up perfectly with 1 day of time, so you have to amount for that wiggle room. It's the sequence of chart events to pay closest attention to, and this is why I do not recommend trading this information alone. It took me over 25 years, 26 years to get this good at it, guys. I lost a lot of money in the first 10 years trying to figure this out. So learn from my failures so that you don't have to do them yourself, right? And the way that you do that is you get the monthly access subscription on our website, Tarot for Traders, which gives you the live Discord trade alerts and live updated trading view chart links. Those are game-changing services. And it allows you to stay in real time with me, because what you should think of for this video is that this is basically what we expect. This is a plan of our expectations for the month of April. But if we do need to give it plus or minus a day of wiggle room at some point, or maybe we're just like completely wrong, because it happens occasionally, very rarely, but it does, human error. We're able in real time to update people and keep them on track. So really, you should only be trading this information if you got the monthly access subscription. I'm going to show you how to get that at the end of the video. Now, before I get into all of the chart behavior, I just want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. You do that by following through on the rule of karma. For the channel, you go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of all profits should be donated forward to one of these charities, effectively transmuting the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. It's a way to say thank you. It's also a way to express gratitude. And when you express gratitude, the universe sends you more reasons to be grateful. So make sure to follow through on those 5%. And then that 90% left over, make sure to spend it out of love. As long as you follow through on those rules of karma, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Not to mention, if you do that regularly, you're going to get my attention. We'll put you in the Angel Investor Discord channel. All right, guys, let's get into it. So the overall theme and behavior for April, we have the power card indicates an attempt to establish support. So we're when you cross that with the Ace of Swords, which is often on the scale of a theme or a crossing card in a 1 month, it's often an important resistance level on at least a 1 month scale, but usually on a 1 year chart scale based on its prominence. So what it looks like is that we're going to be playing between, we're going to attempt to establish support, and there's also going to be an important resistance level that we come up against at some point. Usually with the Ace of Swords, it'll decline from that resistance and then return to it in the not too distant future. Usually a very reliable card to trade around. And it does look like there's a pretty big move towards the third week of the month. I'll talk about that in more detail as we progress into the reading. Behavior around the highest high. There's an overbought crest that will sell off from through multiple support levels off of the high. And then behavior around the lowest low, sideways rotation along key support on at least the 1 month scale. Basically everything in this reading that I talk about, support, resistance, big moves, troughs, peaks, all of that is going to be on the scale of a multi-day chart with 1 day candlesticks unless otherwise specified, just to be clear. All right, so we're going to get into the day-by-day sequence of chart events, but before we do that, let's take a look and see how we did in February. I think this was a really solid reading. So we had highest highs here around the 4th, 5th. I probably said most likely on the 5th, but the 4th, 5th. And it looks like we had 4th, 5th. So it was on the 4th. So I did nail that. I thought it was going to be the very next day, but even so, I said it could be either one of those 2 days. So we pretty much nailed the highs. As far as the lowest lows, we had here somewhere between the 26th and the 27th. Here's the 27th. So we were off. We were off by 1 day, guys. It was the last day of the month that ended up being low. This was a really solid reading, and I gotta say this was a tough reading because not often do you see a theme card that basically is the opposite of what you see for the highs and lows. And what I mean is that this theme card was super bullish, but even so, usually the theme card gives you the overall trend for the chart. Or for the reading, but in this case, the high was in the beginning, the low was in the end. Very, very counterintuitive to the adjustment card, which makes me believe that we're coming up on an adjustment card move out of oversold territory very, very soon. In any case, that was really solid stuff. Would have had you short QUBT on the 4th, and you would have closed out of QUBT on the 14th, or more likely you would have held it until the 26th. So if you got out on the 14th, that would have been all the way down here. Right, the 14th's up here. We would have shorted on the 4th right here. Up at like $10 roughly. We would have closed out of it on the 14th around $7.90. Or if you held it for the greater risk, greater reward, 26 we would have got out. That would have been right here. That would have been a really solid gain down to the 660s. So hopefully people were following along with the Discord alerts, because we were definitely short in the month of February, made some money on the short side. And as far as these chart drawings are concerned, this is the type of an example of what you can see as part of the live TradingView chart links that we have. We actually draw in areas. The bigger the ellipse, the greater the time frame of the reading that ellipse is based on. As you get into smaller and smaller time frame readings, the ellipses get smaller and more isolated, and you can see these ones were based on the 1 month, right? And also the darker the ellipse, because they overlap each other, the darker the area of the ellipse, the more probability of the price level meeting there and reversing at that point in most cases. But we say what to do. Open longs, open longs. We have right here. It's hard to see because I've got so much stuff in the way, but this basically says 2025 lowest low thus far. That was predicted on February 5th, 2025, guys, a month ago. So people with the early access subscription had access to these drawings. And when these drawings change, because sometimes they do, if my expectations change, I'm going to update them. So people don't end up losing money. It would be silly not to. But I sent out a Discord trade alert, or a Discord alert on the trade alert channel, telling everybody the chart has just been updated and giving them the new link, because it does change regularly. Anyways, you get that and all the Discord trade alerts in real time as part of the monthly access subscription. I'm going to show you how to get that later. Before we get into April, let's take a look and see how we're doing for March so far. All right, so I had lowest low here on the 10th, and it looks like we pretty much nailed that. We were slightly lower on the 11th, just slightly, but pretty much nailed that as far as when to get into a long position. And with that said, there's a possibility we see the lowest low again. And it's doubtful, but there is a possibility around the 9th, and then we should see highest highs next week. So as far as everything looks, it's going according to plan, and it's done pretty well thus far. Yeah, all right, guys, so let's get into it. Oh, and if you're wondering, before we even do that, the February QUBT shuffle file was created on January 12th, 2025. The March shuffle file was created on January 23rd, 2025. Well in advance, guys. All right, so let's get into the day-by-day sequence of chart events. So on the 1st, we've got a rally increasing with the momentum moving forward in time. There's a crest that forms there on the 1st or the 2nd that we sell off from down to and through support. We do a U-shaped reversal below that support, come back and reuse it as a support level. On the 2nd, we have a rally that turns over with a decline through key support. On the 3rd, we have a rally, a notable move to the upside on the 3rd. Early in the day, breaking through key technical price level on a multi-day scale, just temporarily. Then we turn around and we head south. Decline continues into the 4th. Um, so there might be like a temporary bottom there on the 4th, but it does look like we've got like another a lower trough on the 7th within a period of sideways fluidity, equal amounts of bulls and bear inflow and outflow. And it looks like we attempt to establish some support there on a multi-day scale. There's a U-shaped dip on the 8th that forms near the intersection of two perpendicular diagonal trend lines. And then that turns into price swinging on the 9th, a big move to the upside on the 10th, into a prominent peak on a 1-month scale. Yeah, so prominent peak on a 1-month scale, and then on the 11th we have a prominent move higher, full retracement back down. On the 14th, out of a decline, so the decline might continue from the 11th into the 14th, or maybe there's a gap down or something there on the 14th, but there's an unexpected move to the upside on the 14th out of a scary chart behavior. Another prominent peak towards the end of the day on the 15th at a key technical resistance level on a multi-day scale. We should decline from that, and then there's probably return to it in the not too distant future. There's a breakout on the cusp of the 15th, 16th, sideways rotation on the 16th that ends with a fast sudden move higher, and then a peak. Another prominent peak there on the 17th that we sell off from through multiple support levels. There might be like a sharp drop at the end of the day on the 16th, either that or a gap down and then another move to the upside early in the day on the 17th. But the peak at the end of the day on the 17th, it looks like there's a pretty sharp drop there. And we get into bearish price swings on the 21st with another prominent peak in there. Big move to the upside, reaching for distant resistance on the 22nd. Prominent peak on the cusp of the 22nd, 23rd. A higher prominent peak on the 23rd where we break through key resistance. We break back down through it shortly thereafter with the full retracement, creating like a capital A in the English language, if that price level was the horizontal line through it. Sideways rotation on the 24th with a fast sudden move higher. I'm advised not to chase a decline in that takes us into that sideways rotation. I'm advised not to chase that decline. Likely a pretty big move there around the cusp of the 23rd to the upside or the downside. And then on the 25th, we have erratic behavior back and forth through the same price level. In the midst of that erratic behavior, we usually revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity. Sometimes it's trough, usually it's a crest. On the 28th, a sideways fluctuating rally preceding a notable decline. A lot of volatility on the 29th and an intentional fake out or shake out, some sort of tricky chart behavior intended to make us do the wrong thing impulsively there. And then an unexpected, so probably a decline there on the 29th. It would make sense. We have a sideways fluctuating rally into a peak around the cusp of the 28th, 29th, and then a sharp decline on the 29th. If we don't see a decline on the 28th, then a sharp decline on the 29th is very, very possible. And then this unexpected move to the upside on the 30th. The sneak preview for May, we've got a rally into key resistance and then a decline with consecutively lower spikes up on the way down. Usually they'll meet moving averages as resistance, and moving averages are usually in bearish formation for that strike card. All right, so I'm going to give you one of the best trades that I see. Remember, guys, this is really only for entertainment purposes. If you are serious about trading this information, you must have access to the monthly access subscription, which gives you the Discord trade alerts for QUBT, a chat channel for QUBT, gives you all of early access to all of our public posts that come out on YouTube. As well as day trades for SPY and swing trades for SPY. I mean, those are huge money makers, guys. All of that in the monthly access, as well as other tickers in crypto. I'm going to show you in just a moment. So for entertainment purposes only, to prove to you that this stuff can be used practically, that extrasensory perception is real and it exists and it can be used practically in the real world, all right? So with that said, probably one of the best trades that I see here yeah, okay, so on the 3rd, we should have a prominent peak on the 2nd and or on the third, but there's an important technical price level on a multi-day scale early on the third that we should break through momentarily. It might be out of a trough, a big move to the upside to break through that price level. Hard to say, but it'll be important on a multi-day scale. We'll break through it just temporarily before we turn around and we head south. So when we break through that temporarily, that price level, if you can identify that, should be towards the morning session of the third. That's where we would open up a short, and we would close the short in the morning on the 7th. I like to have backups exits, especially for short positions. So I would say if you can close it on the 4th for a good profit, do so. And then if you can't, then you would wait till the 7th, and on the morning of the 7th, close out of it as a backup exit. Rule of thumb when trading SOMET analysis, you never want to count on the backup exits. You always want to take the first profitable exit and then just take that money and reposition it into another promising trade. People who go for max gain are not pro traders, period. That is scarcity mentality. You want max probability of exit, not max gain. Max probability of exit. Rule number 1, protect your capital, because you can always make more, but when you run out of it completely, you're done. All right, guys. So with that said, let me show you how to get that early access. We also in the monthly access subscription, we also cover QUBT. Well, we cross-reference it with the 2025 one-year reading and the multi-year reading in some cases, and you get access to all of the best trades as well as the timing of the highest highs and the lowest lows for the month to the day. Usually on point, not always. You saw the accuracy review. We were on point so far with both months. So the way that you get the monthly access subscription, sorry, that was my yoga. The way that you get the monthly access subscription, you go to our website, Tarot for Traders, hover over Order Now, click on Subscriptions. Monthly access subscription is our most popular subscription. It's our mid-level subscription. This is $300 a month. This is likely going up in price very, very soon. So if you're able to grab it at this $300 a month price, congrats to you, because you'll have that price for the entirety of the lifetime of the subscription. Now, what I said about it, all those things that you get, early access to public posts, the day trade alerts, the swing trade alerts, and then you get monthly predictions for each and every one of these crypto and ticker symbols. With the timing of the highest highs and the lowest lows for each of these to the day, and all of the trades that we expect to see, not to mention a Discord trade alert channel for all of those. Here's an example, guys. On the monthly access Discord trade alert, you have all of these channels right here. All of these channels right here. Right? Trade update. If you missed the entry on Monday or Tuesday, we likely have a revisit around the 19th, open long at that time. If you have not done so, right? This is the type of stuff. Trade opportunity should bottom out here. So, I mean, this is great stuff, guys. And we're right most of the time, not all of the time. So don't trade like a jerk. Trade responsibly. Don't trade like I'm right all the time. You'll regret it. I'm right most of the time. All right. So with that said, you click here, subscribe, $300 a month. Much love and appreciation to everybody that goes ahead and does that. Blessings to all my angel investors. I will see you guys on the next one.